This wasn't a movie which I had been eagerly anticipating, nor did I think it was going to be a superb piece of cinema. But I was intrigued to see how it would play out, and I thought it would at least be slightly better than other movies which came out in a similar style around the same time. Overall, it met my expectations. Hello, and welcome back to another installment of Film Friday, in which I review a new film every single week. This week we are looking at the film Deadpool and Wolverine from 2024, starring Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Let's get into it. At the risk of repeating myself for the 100th time, Marvel movies have been in a major slump recently. Sure, they still are making good money for the most part, but ever since the Infinity Saga ended, it has been clear that the goal really just has been to capitalize on the brand and make as much money as possible. This has resulted in far too many shows and movies being released in too short of a time, to the point in which even diehard Marvel fans are getting fatigued by trying to keep up with all the new releases. Not to mention the obvious cost to quality, continuity, and just about everything that is good about a film. And as a result, the plot of this film also suffers, despite being significantly better than many of its counterparts. Now, it is worth noting here that I have started to judge Marvel movies in a sort of vacuum, comparing them only to one another and the franchise as a whole, rather than to the rest of movies or cinema or anything like that, because of course, when compared to those, they pretty much always fall short. So with that in mind, that context in mind, Deadpool and Wolverine was not bad at all. It was a good Marvel movie. Like the two Deadpool movies before it, the action was carried out very well, and the humor was, well, actually funny, for the most part. Sure, these movies often take things too far, and the sense of humor can be awfully crude at times, but when the goal is to make a comic book superhero action movie with a good amount of fan servicing, this will be considered a successful result. But, as I mentioned earlier, the plot suffered tremendously at the hands of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. To start, you would have had a really hard time understanding what was going on at the beginning of the film if you had not previously watched both seasons of Disney Plus's Loki. That show was all about the TVA, or the Time Variance Authority, which plays a pretty major and significant role in this film. There were entire words and phrases, even characters, that would have made no sense without the context of that show, like the sacred timeline or pruning. But on the flip side, despite this movie assuming that you had seen every single piece of Marvel content from the last 30 years, much of the runtime was still devoted to exposition. Also, and perhaps I've not been following this closely enough to be well informed on the matter, but it was my understanding after the end of season 2 of Loki that the Time Variance Authority were not going to be pruning variants anymore, but then this was repeatedly threatened throughout this movie, which was supposed to be set after the second season of Loki. So, would I recommend you go see this movie? Yes, so long as you are at least a mild fan of superhero movies. Otherwise, you will be completely bored out of your mind. With that being said, thank you for watching, and be sure to comment your own thoughts on this film below, and don't forget to subscribe for more movie commentary and reviews.